In the Arctic, everything is changing. Massive animal tracking study finds, animals across the Arctic are changing where and when they breed, migrate and forage in response to climate change, says a new study. We are going towards a large imbalance, I think.
Here's a summary of the article.
Animals across the Arctic are changing where and when they breed, migrate and forage in response to climate change, says a new study unveiling the massive scale of the change. The changes mean humans in the Arctic may have to adapt and adjust everything from hunting seasons to conservation to land use, scientists say. The paper includes some examples of how that data can be used, including a study on golden eagles that combines datasets, including borers, to span 30 years, well beyond the academic lifetime of anyone. It was also long enough to correlate the birds' movements with cyclical climate patterns and show young eagles have been shifting their migration times. Alicia Kelly, a wildlife biologist for the government of the Northwest Territories based in Fort Smith, contributed data about caribou breeding times among northern caribou populations. Mark Hebblewhite, a University of Montana biologist, told the Canadian press that adaptation isn't universal across Arctic species, and that may mean caribou no longer calve at the same time that nutritious food sprouts on the tundra. Kelly said the data could help biologists better understand how at-risk caribou will be in the future. Bill Halliday, an associate conservation scientist with the Wildlife Conservation Society Canada in Victoria, wasn't involved in the study but researches Arctic marine mammals and fish.
This post received a score of 7,800, with an upvote ratio of 97%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
And some people say we still have to compromise with oil company and fracking. I fucking can't believe this. Bro, our monkey ancestry constantly be showing, by our lack of ability to do anything.
I think that's insulting to monkeys. Last year I went to northern Norway and one of the activities we did was feed reindeer. They receive more rain now compared to just snow due to climate change. So now they bring the herd to this reserve in the winter, and people will pay to come feed the reindeer and learn about the culture. It was absolutely fascinating and is something I often think about when people bring up climate change.
Speaking of Norway, can they stop hunting whales? Thanks.
Out of all the countries that still hunt whales, I believe Norway does so sustainably. I visited the country back in 2015 and noticed that they had whale in occasional restaurants. It didn't seem very common, but I saw it a bunch of times. If my research is to be believed, Norway only hunts a species of whale that is nowhere near being endangered, and they do using sustainable methods. But I don't remember the details now 5 years later.
So does Japan, as the minke whale population is growing, doesn't stop people from complaining about it though while simultaneously defending Norway.
Am I wrong that Japan isn't sustainable in the whaling it engages in? Don't they lie and say that they are catching whales for scientific purposes? When I last read about this 5 years ago, Norway stood out as a lot more responsible than Japan here.
We're distracted with so much shit, and the world just keeps getting warmer and less hospitable.
Well, Alaska is becoming more hospitable technically, lol.
It isn't though, because while it will be warmer, the ground is also completely destabilizing because the permafrost is melting, i.e. bad for buildings.
Also, the north doesn't just instantly become arable farmland when the temperatures rise. The impact on food supply is potentially disastrous.
This is a point that I feel many people overlook. The rate of climate change is vastly higher than the rate in which farmland is developed.
We know what we need to do.
So let's get to work. NASA climatologist Dr. James Hansen says that becoming an active volunteer with this group is the most impactful thing an individual can do for climate change. Dr. Catherine Hayhoe, climatologist and lead author of the U.S. National Climate Assessment, agrees. For other expert opinion on how individuals can make a difference, see here. We can do this.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.